spreads its wings. A corruption so deep it poisons everything. But in the shadows, a group of heroes arise. Bound by courage, they'll never compromise. Through treacherous valleys and mountains high, they fight for justice, never questioning why. Their hearts ablaze, united they stand against the forces of evil hand in hand. Oh, hear the legends of our sacrifice. In the face of darkness, we will rise with valor in our hearts. We'll take a stand, defend us on Freya, we'll save the land.
Good evening, everybody. Mike Gary here for Geek Pride's Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. With me tonight, we have Conrad as Arnold Jerkel.
Don't really want to make it tough. I just want to tell you that I had enough. It might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie. Gregor, bye, bye, bye.
Wow. We have Michael as Tharaval. You're muted. You're muted.
Oh,
You're muted.
the mic went.
What?
Yeah.
Ah, there we go.
It's back.
There you go.
Yeah.
I said I'm not even going to attempt trying to follow that.
We have Gius as Brother Gadden.
I should have stayed at home and played some D&D.
We have Flecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Walk towards the light, Gregor.
Mark as Lance.
Okay. Backing away slowly.
Need to put your microphone closer to your mouth, Mark.
Backing away slowly.
And we have Vic as Seren Sanguine.
Mi dispiace, non lo so.
Excellent. Right. Okay. So. We had a bit of a cliffhanger last week. Long and short of it is, Gregor was left to his devices to, under the guidance of Kivy, to go through the rite of rebirth, or his sort of current rite of rebirth as he is within. Arno and the rest taking themselves off to the local sort of tavern to, if it's called a tavern, just a place where they were drinking, to basically talk about what was going on, what they were going to do. There were some decisions made about Tharaval and Serval going to, and Seren going to the Whispering Shore to try and get some artifacts. Lance and Eldrith was going off to Waterside. If you know, you know. Then we had the rest of them hanging around the temple complex to do magic things, I believe. There was no other people doing other things, was there, that I've missed out on? No? Okay. And then basically what's happened is one of the monks, whose name I will remember because I've got his characters here, Brother Matthias Sunfire, has basically come into where they were drinking and sort of warned them that something was happening, and that you know something was happening with Gregor. So they have rushed to the cell of where Gregor was resting under Kiwi's guidance, and there was a ward up on the door that's basically stopped them from entering. They've tried their best. Arno's tried to get through, and Kiwi's basically said to him, "There's nothing we can do now. It's up to him." Then as they were about to go off and do their own things, Seren's basically put her hand on the door and said a few words. The ward dropped. The door creaked open, basically smoke and golden, sort of with a sort of golden light, exited from this door. You heard basically a low, guttural sort of kind of groan or roar, and that's basically where we left it. So, first things first, ladies and gents. The way this is going to rock, I was going to go for the whole I'm just going to tell you what happens, but I'm not. I'm going to give you some agency in the outcome of this, but I'm warning you now, he can die, and it's not a it's literally going to be, there's going to be 5 challenges. There's going to be 5 challenges. There's going to be a score for each challenge. There will be different ways around them, I hope, and depending on what you roll you get will affect how many points you get. I have given ChatGPT some instructions on a scoring system, which I haven't looked at. Basically, I won't know what score it is that will give him what. So it's basically all I will be recording is the score, and then I will basically record the score, tell you what's happening, and then when at the end of it, we will have a tally. There is basically points for, let me see, where are we? There will be 3 points for successes, 2 points for partial successes, no points for failures. Critical successes will give you 4 points. Critical fails will give you -2 points. Sorry, a failure gives you -1 point. When you add all these up, we will have a total, and that total will tell us what's happened to him. And that's the way we're doing it. So there is very likely that something could happen to him, but this is the way it's going to be. So it gives
I
it
feel
a
like
bit.
you should tell Danny to join the stream so she can watch his demise.
I
Um,
was thinking the same.
So,
but it's 4 o'clock. Yeah, I was going to say
If he
it's
dies,
4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm not telling her.
Yeah. I don't mind telling her. I don't
By
mind
the
telling
way,
her.
Danny,
Something happened.
By the way, Danny, Gregor's dead. You're welcome.
right. Okay. Again, it's we'll see. I might have to ad lib some bits and pieces, but I've got a general view on how it should be going and stuff. So, right. Okie dokie. So let me stick on this, and then we will right. Okay. So you, as you sort of see this door open, the smoke comes out, and the sort of this golden, the sort of kind of light with it behind it. You're sort of watching it, and then I'm going to transpose. No, actually, no, I'm not going to do it that way. Okay. Okay, we left you off at the door. That thing happened. Cut to next scene. You're there. There's a field, which I will show you. Hi.
In the room.
What? Shh,
I
listen.
think we've been translocated.
Listen.
In the field of roses, players go to die.
Okay, I haven't uploaded that photograph, but yeah, I'll just describe it for you. So you're in a field where and I'll say you, Kivy is in a field where Arno left Gregor. There's a mighty tree beside a river, and Kivy sits beside Gregor, who is looking at the stream babbling past and throwing little pebbles into it. She sits beside him, and he doesn't really acknowledge her. Doesn't really acknowledge her being there. If he can see her, well, we'll never know. She says to him, "The rest is up to you, Gregor." You need to get through this yourself. There will be 5 challenges. And you must do your best to be strong and pass all of them. I will be here for you throughout these challenges. I will guide you as best I can. But in the end, what you choose is down to you. And what I do is but a cast of the dice. Good luck. Gregor sort of looks at the stream. A bit more resolved. Again, doesn't acknowledge any voice or any advice. He stands up and dusts himself off. He sort of cricks his neck and says, "Right, I guess this is it then." And starts to walk in a southerly direction. As he walks, he comes across a can everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. He starts to walk. As he does, the lush green grass and the babbling brook turns to one of blood, a river of blood, and a land scorched by fire and death. He walks past places he has memories of. A bridge where a battle was fought. A town where he used to live. A city where he spent much time with his friends. The city is covered in the strata of battle. There are dead bodies everywhere. This is Taunt, he says to himself. This is my home. Fire sort of plumes from every which way. He looks down amongst the bodies to see if he can find any familiar faces. And I'm just an idiot, and I've closed. Don't know it's there. There it is. Let's get this. Okay. Okay, so before I carry on, effectively what's going to happen is you are acting as Kivy between yous, okay? You are his guidance. And what's going to happen is there will be these challenges, and between you, and you can use your own stats. So I think she's powerful enough to sort of have certain things. So you can use your own stats, but once somebody's been used, they can't be used again. Okay? So there's 5 and there's 6 of you. So between yous, but once you've you've put yourself forward for rolling a dice to do something, do it. Now, I will allow you can RP it as you wish. Whatever you want to do to try and sort of eke things, I will listen to whatever you have to say, protests, whatever you need. But in the end, there will be a dice roll, and I'm not going to tell you what it needs to pass or fail. I'm just going to let you carry on, and then that's it, okay? So,
Everyone got their listen ship button ready.
so let's make sure I have the right one. That is the wrong one.
Can we see each other?
No, you're not in there. This is Kivy. This is effectively Kivy.
Yeah.
You are Kivy.
Yeah, we're sharing Kivy. We're sharing Kivy together.
No,
and we're
I
playing.
understand that, but how are we there in presence?
You're not
Are
there
we-
in presence. You're at the door. This is before you came. So this is her. I'm not.
Okay, so we have nothing. Like this isn't us seeing
No.
this as we open the door.
No,
We've
no, no.
just gone
This,
back in
yeah,
time.
this is basically
not
her.
that.
This is her working through his rights, his different challenges with him.
Okay.
And you are effectively, as a group, acting as her. So I'm giving you agency. You can use some of your stats, but you can use your stats if needs be to do what you need to do.
Okay.
In certain
I was just wondering about like from RP wise whether Arno would say anything, but he doesn't know, so that's fine.
Yeah. So you're
She's
effectively
embodying all of it,
Kivy. By all means, you can work with it however you want. Her, because she's a djinn and she's all powerful. You can put yourselves into it in certain ways if you wish, your characters or whatever, if it helps. But you are, for all intents and purposes, her, and she's trying to guide him through this. But like I said, you can chat amongst yourselves how you want to do certain things, and then it's going to be more led by you in certain ways, and then if there's certain cues, I'll do things, and there will be like a description of something that's going to happen, and then you basically have to work your way around. I'm not trying to trick you or anything. It's literally there's certain text I've got here where we can go one way or another, and different things will happen. So it's up to you how you want to do it. And again, once you've chosen who's going to do that, use that stat, roll that dice. They can't do it again. Okay, so let's see. Let me make sure I have got that is my point system, and this is so he walks around the bodies that he sees in front of him. He searches for faces. He doesn't know why, but he feels like he needs to see them. He comes across close to the gates of Taunt, the bodies of 3 of his friends. He sees Draken, Galandra, and his master Solden lying dead at the front gate. Enemies strewn around them. He sort of kneels down. And by the way, if you want to act as Gregor as well, by the way, if you want to sort of give him some agency yourselves, then by all means, I'm happy for you to sort of kind of, within reason, do certain things with him. So if you think he will do that, then I'm happy for you to do that. But he sort of kneels down and sort of sees that their eyes are wide open, looking at him. They look to him like maybe betrayal, like something has happened. Are they looking at me? Is this my fault? The hissing voice of the black-haired lady resides in his head. These deaths could have been. These deaths could have been stopped, if only you had been given a chance. But they are not, and look where you are. You have caused this, Sir Gregor. This is your doing, and the deaths of all of these people, all of these loved ones, these women, these children. He looks down beside him and sees the limp body of Casper. That is all Right. So he's being taunted in his mind. Kivy hears this. What is Kivy's doing? You can do nothing if you wish. You can try and interact with them if you wish. As she's hearing this, how are you going to act?
I think that she would recall being there while Arno was in the dream and having gone through this already, and recall what Arno basically already reassured him, how these deaths could not have been prevented, not to listen, and that these things happened and we have to accept it and not take any blame. So I think she would probably try and remind him of that sequence and persuade him otherwise. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. Anybody got any other views on it? There
No,
are
I'm
different.
quite
There
happy to.
are effectively, like I've got several options of variations, ways to do things. Depending on what you choose will depend on what type of dice you need to roll. So, any other options?
Quite-
Or anything else you want to throw out there?
No, I think we're well, I'm definitely going to defer to Conrad on this one because
Yeah,
No.
because he saw the dream, so I would do the same.
Okay.
Let's get her to try and get him to recall the conversation with Arno then.
Okay. You need to roll me a persuasion. So who wants to roll me a persuasion?
Who's got high persuasion? Ooh,
And again, remember, once somebody's been used, they can't be used again. So there are
Yeah,
4
that's
other
fine.
challenges. You won't know what's happening, so be careful.
that should not be me.
Yeah, as I say, we need to use a midweight persuasion rather than go out all guns blazing with Arno's.
Well,
Plus two.
what?
Also, I will give you.
Wait. So we can only use one skill each, or we can only use one skill?
one check.
One
You'll-
character.
One character each, right?
Yeah. So instead of so it gives you you can use your own stats, but you're basically choosing the person who's going to step up and give that roll. Yeah.
So I think basically, if we're using persuasion, the high rollers are going to be Arno, Serval, and Tharavel.
Mhm.
What's your mod, Sarah?
And by the way, you can't use Serval. You can't use any of the NPCs. It's between you 6. Sorry.
Serval would have been good. My persuasion is 9.
Okay, mine is 7, but I have very high in. I have high in performance and deception. A bit higher than that, but otherwise it's.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of sort of there's deception would be another one that I would be okay at, but again, it's kind of the same score.
But you're pretty good on dexterity stuff as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, mine's kind of a skill
Light
monkey.
print.
There's a couple of things that are low, but he tends to sort of have middle to high on quite a lot of things.
Mm.
Is it likely he's going to be doing some dodging, ducking, dipping,
So,
diving? dodging?
Basically, the lowest, my highest low scores are like +7, and then it goes. Other ones go up to like +15.
Oh wow! So your cheat code.
But that's, I mean, it's
He
for
used the
things like
Konami code.
the +15. It's like sleight of hand or acrobatics, +12 for animal handling, +10 for stealth, and then the rest of them are sort of like
I mean,
9s and 7s.
if we're doing a persuasion, I think that probably we should use Arno because he has the silver tongue feat, which means that I can't roll lower than a 10 base.
Yeah.
So my lowest roll will be 17.
The other thing to note is what situation we're in at the moment. So, take the fact that we're in a war seat, we are blown up to pieces, smithereens. It's going to be a test of like fortitude, and so you're going to need a lot of rallying, persuasion, potentially like helping Gregor overcome whatever this hairy black hair bitch does. So Arno or Tharavel is going to be a good shout, whichever direction we go into. But we have to be prepared for the idea that there might be something else related to it. And I don't think if there is a physical level to what is going to happen with Kivi, I mean,
We'll figure it
anything
out.
can happen. But yeah,
I think we can figure. I think if we're going for a charisma face check, then we should use Arno as the face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So I'll just roll persuasion then, shall I?
cool.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. 17.
Okay. Is there anything you want Kivi to say to him? Or are you just
I
basically what
think
you've said?
She'd say something like, just try and speak over to him and say, Gregor, my love, recall your friends, your friend Arno. You have already spoken and evaluated this battlefield. He spoke the truth. These deaths could not have been prevented. Not by you, not by Arno, not by any of them. You must come to accept their fates as you must accept yours. Stand strong now. Remember the words of your friend Arno. This was not your fault, and had you have joined them, the outcome would have been the same.
Gregor stands again. He has tears in his eyes and a bit of a lump in his throat. And he sort of clasps a piece of cord that he found beside Salden's body, maybe an old rosary or something along those lines. He sort of squeezes it tight and sort of lifts his head. As he lifts his head, he drops the cord and says, "This is not my fault. This is not my fault. This is not my fault!" As he does, the surrounding area starts to morph. Lush green grass sprouts. The dead bodies seem to turn to flowers. The gate he stands in, he sees an image of Draken and Solden and Galandra, Tharaval, Thomas walking, and Lance walking out the gate, laughing. Mulebrenner in tow, off on their first adventure, maybe. He smiles and walks on. Okay. As he sort of makes his way through the winding streets of Taunt, he comes to a building. It's an ornate looking building, old but grand. It's not one he has seen before. He is compelled to walk in through these old doors. As he does, he enters a room. The room is covered in mirrors. Some are slightly cracked, some are grand and glamorous looking, others normal and plain. Let's see. Let me eat that. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
I tried my best to get different mirrors, but the AI art place thing wasn't really giving me much, so it's the best I could do. He walks around these mirrors and notices in each one a visage of himself. He sees one of a boy in a apothecary's. He sees a young boy just doing what he was taught to do before all of this, before all the death, before everything. He sees another boy, this time slightly more stern looking, slightly more aged. He kneels in a room, lonely, crying to himself. In another mirror, he stands there, replete in armor, a mighty sword at his side. In the background, smoke rises up, and he sees the bodies of Kiamat Red Scale and others surrounding him. He sees another mirror where it's just him at a camp, being happy with his lot in life, with his friends.
Believe that.
What's that? And let me just check. Is there another one? And another one of another one of him, old, cruel, withered, and bloodstained. The voice appears in his head once again. You can choose your destiny now, Gregor. You are strong. He can make you stronger. He can make you what you need to be to face the darkness. You are the light. You are the light. Okay. Decision time. What do you want to do in this room? What are you going to advise him?
Choice. This destiny.
I would say choose the destiny that where he is happy. he can be strong, and he can be powerful, and he can defeat his enemies. But true strength doesn't come like you don't get true strength on your own. Happiness and true strength come from within and from the people around you.
Conrad,
Yes.
what's Kivi's alignment?
Isn't that an interesting question?
Yeah.
I'd say she
I-
was
She's chaotic
neutral.
good or neutral.
Yeah.
Well,
But I think she's
neutral
maybe
now more good.
Yeah,
than
I think she's
neutral.
leaning more good than she was. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I-
Because
Oh,
gone.
sorry.
There you go.
No. Just to add on to what Michael said, I think she'd say as well, ignore the past. It can't be changed now. And my
Yeah.
idea would be that, as Kivi says this to me, she would smash all the mirrors aside from the one showing him where he's just happy.
Yep. Yeah. Although, I think Kivi knows. Would Kivi have known enough about Gregor through the eyes of Arno, and or would she just know more because she's been watching him, or she's absorbed his being?
It sounds like she's been watching this little replay in his head, so she'll have a fairly good idea of a lot of things because she's been sitting with him while he's been trawling through his memories. Okay, so they're slightly twisted in places, but I mean, I would argue that also she might say that revenge is transitory. It doesn't really achieve anything, and it will leave him hollow. And his friends that have passed won't ever thank him. Wouldn't want that for him.
Okay.
Like anything else.
So here's my line of thought here. I asked about her alignment. Now I ask about where is her what of the soft stats does she lean hardest on? Because that's going to govern where I would play her. Because if she is a wisdom character, I would have gone. If she's wisdom stacked, let's say, then I would have gone down Mark's route. But if she's more charisma based, then I would have gone down Arno and Michael's route.
She's a patron and a genie. She's clear. Arno has his gifts in deception and stuff because of his alignment with her.
So charisma, you would say then.
I would say so, but she is also. I mean, she's an all-powerful genie.
Yeah. No, I think
as well. But she's she's a page of. She's not one of trickery, but she's been deceiving Arno the whole to her game.
And I think the only
say she aligns with charisma.
Yes, I would say. I was just. I think I was agreeing with that assessment of saying that she would be more charisma based. Not to say that she doesn't have amazing stats in other areas, but the reason why I say that is because then it helps me dictate where I would play Kivi as well, and I would play Kivi around the happiness route, but then also slightly tempted by the one other thing, because Gregor, if she understands him correctly, is a person that does not want to be forgotten ever again. He doesn't want to be the third wheel, shall we say. He's tired of it, and I guess there is an opportunity here for him to look at that one reflection where he is the conqueror, he is powerful, and find happiness in it. But that is my only. But otherwise, where he's happy is, I would agree, that's where I would go. But there is a stroke of because she's a genie. Is there a way where she'd be like, well, actually, how great am I that I can fuse a bit of both together?
She definitely would have been like that before, but after the whole thing that went down with Galandra and her broken relationship with Arno and everything, she is in repentance, and she's not gonna try anything now that will lose more favor with Arno. I think.
So I'm thinking instead of splashing them all in one go, she might go from one to the other and then break them as she works.
Yeah,
towards
that was
Yeah.
my idea. She'll
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
in front of the mirrors, and then they sort of will magically break as she walks past, and she'll
Yeah.
sort of leave the last one. And
Assessing each one as you go along, saying that's not for him, boom,
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
not for him, bam, and then
This won't
going to the
fulfill
last one.
you. This won't help.
Hmm.
yeah, I think so. I think that's what she meant.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Anybody else? Because, yeah, happiness for him. Let's go.
So let me guess right. You want her to try and smash the mirrors, and then have him just
So she'll talk him through them, and she'll start off with the first one and say, "This may seem tempting, but it's not. It won't fulfill you, and revenge is tempting, but it's transitory, and it leaves you empty and hollow."
So we've got the first one. I think when he's a boy, he's still in the apothecaries. Second one's it's effectively stages of his life, isn't it? So you've got one, second one, sort of like when he just maybe come out. Salden's just died. He's a bit sort of wiser, but slightly tainted by it. You've got the one where he's sort of effectively what he wants to be, the powerful sort of vengeful
Conqueror.
warrior, every boy's sort of dream. You then have one of him being just happy, the Squire Gregor, laughing at a campfire with his friends, happy in himself. And then you have the final one, which is just him, full of regret and remorse and, old.
Yeah. So my thinking is, with the first one, as you said, it would be it's tempting to look back to what was, but we can't go back, and we should go back. We should learn from it, and you're not that person anymore.
Maybe she wouldn't break those ones that were real from his past.
True.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And she'd only break the images that hadn't come to pass yet.
yeah, true.
that are
So she'll
tainted.
start off with that one. Then she'll move on to the Soldier thing and saying that part of living and growing is that we lose those that we care, but we shouldn't forget what they have tried to tell us.
If we never forget them, we've never lost them.
Yeah, it's not they don't go away, but neither should you try to lose them because you're afraid of more loss. You have to embrace those relationships. Then moving on to the conquering one, you say the vengeance is really tempting. It's hot, it's quick, it feels powerful, but it leaves you empty, and it's not something that any of his friends have tried to teach him, and that those that in the case of the one friend who was obsessed with his revenge and his vengeance, unfortunately, in Draken's case, it didn't work as well as he might have hoped, and it hasn't helped the others, where they've become consumed with revenge and recovering him. And that then moving on to the last one, at the end of the day, it's good and it's fitting that he remembers that what everyone ultimately what his friends ultimately want for him, and what will last, is if he can be happy and satisfied in and of himself, and then break, and then maybe at that point break the third one of the conquering thing, and saying that happiness lasts in a way that the vengeance never will.
Thoughts?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Happy to go
By
with
the
that.
sound of that.
We
Yeah,
agreed. So you're
break the
going
two
past each, explaining through the third one you're going to break. I want you to talk through all of them first, and then we'll just do it all like that. So
I was gonna say, do we do it all together, or do we do one by one and see what Gregor's reaction is to each one, and help that inform the next set. Because I know that we know already, but he might change his mind and say something different.
Over to you guys.
I don't. I mean, I'm happy to do it. I'd rather do it one by one, to be honest with you, because then if there's any flavor to add, we'll know. But
I'm just aware that
Sure.
that I kind of railroaded what Arno and the others you guys have said already, so I don't want to be dragging everything and not giving you guys a say in it. That's all.
No, it's fine. I agree with how you've just eloquently put what I was thinking anyway. I just
Yeah.
thought that
Yeah.
she would talk him through not looking back on the past too much, but don't forget and just remember, and
But there's a
then
pause
don't
each
rely on a vision of the future that you don't know will come to pass. And
Yeah.
often you think you want what you don't. And I would have her break those mirrors and say, you know, be happy with your lot in life. Blah blah. So,
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we're going one by one, talking him through it, see what happens, and then move on to the next one.
yeah, I would.
All in agreement?
Yep.
No dissension?
Yep.
I
Okay.
Bloody Hobbits.
Kivy stands beside Gregor, who, looking at these visages of his former self, his current self, and maybe his future self, seems torn. He feels the need to embrace one of these reflections. Part of him feels like he deserves the old man who, sitting in regret, ashen-faced and sad, a lonely old man, is maybe all he deserves. Or maybe he wants to be a boy again. Maybe he just wants to forget everything, forget the party, and just go back to being an innocent boy in the shop that he called home. Sure, the apothecary was hard on him, but none of his friends would have died. None of this would have happened. He walks over to the mirror of him as a boy. Seems like maybe mere seconds before Solden walked into the apothecary's and filled his head with tales of glory and adventure. He looks deep into the face of the young boy looking back at him. I want you to, and you're not. We're not Are we breaking this? We're not breaking this mirror. We're just.
No, we only break. the
No, we're
first
keeping
mirror.
it.
Okay. Okay. I would like somebody to give me a wisdom save.
10 plus.
You can't use me.
10 plus.
Yeah, I might.
Well, it's clearly Gadden's roll, this one.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I don't know.
Get on it.
I also
Yeah, my wisdom's
Get
6.
down on it.
also is this a actually no, it's I only have enchant.
Fine wisdom.
Actually no, is this considered a magical instance? Like is
It's
it
not
a
affecting
spell?
you, though, is it?
It's not
No, it's
affecting
affecting Kivi. It's affecting Kivi though, is it?
Hmm.
Like basically she needs to be in a it's to do with potent spell casting. If it's a save involving a spell or a magical instance, then I cast at advantage.
No, I'm gonna
What?
just do a straight roll on this one, I think.
Sure thing then. Straight roll it is. Here we go. That is a
Nice.
25. Yeah.
Okay. He sort of shakes his head and
Thank you.
shakes his head and says, "No,
Thank you, babe.
to give up my friends would be to give up myself. I am more than this young boy." He moves over to the next mirror. And it's him. It's just looking at himself. Currently. Is this all I am to be? Is this Gregor? Sir Gregor? Is this my lot in life? Do I accept this? Or do I carry on? Roll me a... You're not breaking this mirror?
No.
Roll me another wisdom. Yep. Ooh,
Oh.
crit. Okay. Alright. He says no. I am more than this too. I am better than this. He moves to the third mirror. It's like as he walks through it, as he walks past he walks into this grand plated visage of what he feels like he wants to be. He sees his enemies before him on the ground, defeated, bloodied. In the background, fires rage. There are many dead, but he is victorious. This is what he wants to be. Yes, it is. This is your destiny, Gregor. Accept it and the power it will give you.
At this point, Kivi will clear her throat. It's not the only power. And there is more glorious, righteous, well-earned power that can come from you, unfiltered, unborrowed. Time will grant it to you. You can get it yourself, not without bloodshed, without sacrificing, tainting your soul, but most importantly, not through revenge. Revenge is a hollow, empty victory, one that you'll continue to weep because nothing else has satisfied you. You can't quench that thirst that you have for blood, and soon, when you're spent, you'll find yourself doing the most depraved things possible just so that you can get that one last hit. This is not for you, Gregor. Away. You are meant for better things. You're destined for greatness.
And you're going to smash the mirror?
Smash.
Yes, we're gonna smash. She's gonna smash it with. She's gonna punch it straight through.
Okay. So roll me. And this me to figure something out here because I want to give everybody a chance, and I've got 3 more challenges after this. So just make sure. Let me just have a quick shift here.
We can switch characters, right? For this particular, say for instance, if
Yeah,
it's a
yeah, because
certain
you're all
different
with it. You're all within. So I'm just sort of
good,
trying to
good.
figure it out because I've said you can only use one each. So I'm just making sure everybody has a sort of because there is options for other ones. So I'm just making sure what might be the best.
Where did my turd dog go?
Okay, no, I'll let it slide. Just use as Kivy. So, roll me another wisdom.
Ooh.
Okay. Gregor looks deep into the background of the mirror. Yet there is bodies of his foes surrounding him. There are also bodies of his friends. There are innocent people. There's burning cities and fire. As much as he wants these people dead, it's not like this. This is not who he is either. I am better than this. I do not need this. As he does, he raises, he looks at the ground and finds a large stone bit of marble. He looks at it, and then he looks at the mirror. And before the voice in his head has a chance to dissuade him, he smashes it into the mirror. The mirror sort of shatters into 1,000 pieces. It's like slow motion as they sort of cascade around him. None hurt him. None touch him. They just fall to the ground. What could have been no longer there. He moves on to the next mirror. He sees a campfire. He thinks this was Falcross or somewhere in the surrounding area. He's being ribbed by Draken and flirted with by Galandra. Solden is sitting there telling him that he needs to do his duty and to ignore them both, and he needs to say these prayers and make sure he is righteous towards his Lord Bahamut. And he's trying to do things, and he thinks of these moments and the happiness they brought. He says to himself, yeah, this is where I want to be. Okay. The voice in his head says, yes, but they are still dead, boy. You going back to this point changes nothing. You have destroyed the chance you have had to prevent this. This is but a moment in time that will be wasted.
Don't listen to her, he says. Kivy says. Because even though those people are gone, you may make those relationships again and honor those who have passed. Bittersweet memories that help you strengthen. They say that a relationship that is mourned is a relationship that is loved, has full of love, and it gives you strength. Build more, have more friends like that. No, you don't need it. You have friends waiting for you already. Take this choice. It'll make you far more stronger than you realize.
Roll me a wisdom. You can have advantage on this one.
Wee.
Yep.
29.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, he smiles and sort of laughs to himself, like he remembers the entire moment with great fondness. He's about to touch the mirror when he sort of closes his fist slightly, closes his hand and looks sort of at a jaunty angle to the last mirror. One more. One more. He walks to the final mirror. As he walks into the mirror's front, he sees an old, gnarled old man, completely destitute, and a shadow of his former self. There's a broken sword in the corner, a bit of a shield. There's a house with no joy in it whatsoever. Just sadness. Just remorse. Just self-doubt. The voice in his head says, "This is all you deserve, boy. This is what you deserve. You know it to be true. This is who you will become. Embrace it."
Sweetie, darling, that's not you. The other mirrors would have led you to this future. You have the power to stop it right now. All you need to do is choose the right path. This one here, misery, if you continue to listen to that thing in your ear. She sounds like she needs a cough lozenge or something.
Okay. Roll me another wisdom. I was going to say at disadvantage, but before you rolled it before I got there, so I'll let you have the as it stands.
Imagine disadvantage. You'd be like, okay, fine, I'm going with this.
Okay. So he sort of ignores the voice in his head, and he turns to the other mirrors one last time. And then turns back to his possible future. He said he has the stone in his hand, and he says, "I will not break you, because if I deserve this future, then I will embrace it. But this is not a future I have written, and therefore I will not accept it." He puts the stone down on a table near the thing, and near the mirror, and walks over to the fourth mirror. He holds out his hand and places it on the mirror as it goes through. He walks through into the camp. He feels like he's there again. That moment taken. His friends there. But it's not just his old friends. His new friends are there as well. They all sit there and laugh. They see how he looks at them, how they look at him. He understands them, and he's glad of their presence. He wakes up from what he feels like was a wonderful dream. And he starts to walk again. He finds himself at a fortification, a citadel, if you will. It is large and ornate. It is filled with its walls replete with flags and bunting. There must be something happening. It's a beautiful looking citadel, untouched by war, the height of human craftsmanship. The gates open when he walks through. He walks through the streets empty. There are oak trees and ash, birch and pine. Flowers cascade from balconies, and the scent of perfume perfume and incense sort of lingers in the air. He walks into the hall of the main keep. Within it sits a red dragon, and to the right, within it, that's a new thing. Actually, no, I'll explain first and then get to that bit. So there's a throne of sort of gold, and in front of him, marbled walkway towards it, carpeted, and many jewels encrusting it. There are beside it, flanking it on both sides, statues of dragons. There's a red dragon on the left and a golden dragon on the right. There is a woman standing beside the throne. Beautiful, long, flowing dark hair. She beckons him towards this throne. If only he would sit and take his position. If only he could, all of this could be his. This citadel could be his. All of the surrounding lands could be his. All that is here could be his. And just to think what he could do with all of this. How he could affect this land. How he could change the war with the men that surely would come with this mighty keep. All he needs to do is sit on the throne. As he sort of steps closer, Kivy notices that the throne shifts in shape and style. She's unsure if Gregor sees this or not, but she sees a darker throne, black and jagged. Gregor walks forward and touches each dragon on its head, then steps back to look around himself in this hall. All you need to do is sit, have a kingdom, an empire. This is who you should be, Sir Gregor. Gregor Rex, first of his name. Okay, thoughts?
I feel like this might be a shift in that he's being shown something he wants to see. So maybe a different approach this time might be to try and shock him to look closer, maybe to effectively try and make him look behind the curtain at the wizard. If that makes sense.
Because it sounds like obviously it doesn't want to be railroaded persuasion situation, because it could easily be that, and we're running out of persuasion. So,
Maybe
well, actually,
a different approach.
I'll give you, if you Kivy, the throne to her does shift back and forth. So there seems to be 2 thrones within the one position.
Is this one where we have to sniff it out to see what the whole deal is with it and reveal the farce, the fallacy behind all of it?
Or get him to see.
Yeah.
Can Kibby pull down the sort of the faltering visage, the image, and reveal the truth?
She doesn't. She's not sure what's real either. I would say she feels like both exist. That both positions exist. But it would seem that the dark-haired lady who stands beside the red dragon is sort of coaxing him further, and as she does, roll me roll me a perception check. Somebody needs to roll me a perception check.
Figured it was going to be this.
Who's got good perception?
Tharaval.
Oh god.
Is either perception or investigation? But obviously, in this instance, just seeing it in front. Perception, yeah. But then I think that the other thing else is an exercise in investigating.
I mean, I've got 7 perception, but that's not great compared to some.
Yeah, mine's 6.
Well,
What's perception?
Wisdom.
Wisdom, yeah.
No, what's perception? I've heard that this thing is legendary, but I'd never seen it myself.
My rolls have not been good, and you've used a lot of good rolls in the last one, so...
Fingers crossed you get it then.
Come on, dude.
You got this.
Not time for a nat 1 again. Yeah.
Yay!
That's more like it.
She notices that there are 2 thrones there, but she is sort of trying to coax him to go to the darker one. She's trying to persuade him to. She doesn't know if he understands this or not, but there's the way when she talks to him and the way he's moving forward seems to be in time when it shifts to this sort of darker throne. That's sort of kind of what you're grasping from it. She's trying to get him to sit on this dark throne.
Dark option, yeah.
I suppose Ivy would possibly try and reinforce to Gregor that our eyes can sometimes deceive us, especially for things that we want. Sometimes it's better to stop and take a breath and see things for what they actually are before making a decision.
Everything is a choice. You don't always realise it's a choice until it's too late, though.
It's better to make an informed decision.
If someone's hurrying you
Down
to do something,
down
that's
a
when you
map.
should wait.
I think she could reinforce that with, manipulating the stone floors and the columns around to sort of make them appear to collapse, like when it shifts to the bad throne, to reinforce her image that you see what you want, and that clear that she is manipulating that now.
Okay. Roll me a because you've told him. Okay, so she's perceived this. 'Cause I don't want to just be persuasion rolls the whole way through and stuff. I just want
Would it be if you want to use perception again? He's informing of this, but it's up to him to actually perceive it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll do it that way. So roll me another perception.
Why did I do that?
Okay, cool. What does Kivy say to him?
Again, like basically, she said, as I sort of said before, is that our eyes can deceive us, and especially if it is in a time of seeing something that we want. Sometimes it's better to take a stand, take a breath, and see things for what they actually are before taking our next step.
And then maybe she'll chuckle and say, remember, the moment that someone wants you to make a decision in a hurry is always the best time to stop and ask yourself why.
See your path before you actually walk it.
Yeah.
He's walking and he smells the scent of the flowers and the incense. He sees the glory. He feels like as he's walking along this carpet, he hears people chant his name, and he sees sort of men at arms liveried in sort of familiar tabards. It's like that's like it's his crest, like it's something that's his. He stops though, and he steps back, and he looks at the throne, and he turns his back and starts walking out the door. The voice from the lady behind curses him. The crowd starts to boo, but he carries on walking. He opens the double doors and doesn't even look back, and walks into the light of the streets below. As he goes through the door, he finds himself in another familiar place. He walks down a hill and sees a festival. in front of him. He sees Balcross in the distance and recognizes the festival as the Festival of Victory. He sees children running around him playing. He sees a ranger getting turned into a sheep. If you know, you know. He chuckles and he walks through the crowd. As he does, let me just check here. Sorry, I've got sort of slightly less notes in this one, so I'm just trying to work something out. He walks past a tent, and he sees Galandra. She is sitting with a cup of wine, as was her wont. And she is consoling a little boy. She's consoling Casper. He's lost his sword. He's lost his family. He wants to go home. She smiles at him and puts her goblet down and sort of picks him up in her arms and says, "It will all be good. We will find your family for you, Casper. We will find your sword. You can trust in us." And she looks over at Gregor. Gregor walks on and comes to a blacksmith's. Within the blacksmith's, he sees Solden standing there arguing with the blacksmith himself. The blacksmith is trying his best to scam money out of the young paladin, and you can see in his face one of annoyance, of anger. He turns to Gregor and says, "Sir Gregor, this man deserves our justice. We must seek it out, and we must issue it out. He is but a mere thief. Justice must be done. Here, take my sword, and enact thine justice." Gregor, Solden sort of holds out the sword, and it's he sees the blacksmith with his hand sort of splayed on the table, crying, apologizing for the for trying to scam them. He insists that it was just the festivals in town, and he increases his prices whenever there's. I'm just trying to make a living, etc., etc. Gregor carries on and comes to a its tavern, the Babbling Bat. He goes into the cellar, and there he sees no, actually, I'm going to do it this way. Actually, so ignore that. We'll do this one instead. So he comes to a dock. It's not Falcross anymore. It's I want to say Suncrest. What was the one where Draken punched the shark? Was it Suncrest?
I think it was. I can't remember.
Oh, we'll say Suncrest. I think it was something like. But so it and there's in front of him lies a mage, bound and gagged. In front of him stands Galandra and Draken arguing over the fate of the man below them. Galandra insists that he must die, that he will be a threat to the party and the threat to them, and that they must show no mercy. Draken insists that there is no honor in killing an unarmed man, and one that is bound and captured. He talks strongly about how we should not lower ourselves, and how they call him the barbarian. We should not kill this man, irrespective of what he has done to us. He is our captive. Draken looks sternly at Galandra. Galandra raises Huthway's bane, ready to strike the captive down. Gregor sort of finds himself in a central courtyard. Each of these instances is before him. Each of these moments from his past, or from his party's past, have come back. What does he do?
So what were they? Was there 4? Sorry.
Yeah, so you got him trying. I'm sorry for the some of you. This is very very old school sort of kind of harking back stuff. But you've got him with Casper. Galandra with Casper. He's lost his sword, and he can't find his family. You've got Solden insisting that the blacksmith's hand should be severed because that's what justice is, and that's what he deserves. Or sorry, the Galandra one. I'll add in as well that there's taunting of Casper for being, from little boys running past. There's he's they say that he'll never find his parents, and he's just going to be an orphan, and that his sword is never going to protect anyone, and they're sort of kind of mocking him. Sorry, I forgot to add that in. You've got Solden, who's sort of holding the hand of the blacksmith, insisting that justice be done, and that Gregor sever the hand of this thief, effectively. And then the third one is where Draken and Galandra are arguing over the fate of the Mind Mage. And Galandra is ready to plunge her sword into him. For those who aren't aware, Solden cut off the hand of the blacksmith. It was pretty early doors when we first started, but they cut the blacksmith's hand off because he thought that's what he would do, and that's what justice it was. The Galandra killed, despite a long, lengthy argument with Draken. He thought it was dishonorable. Killed the Mind Mage, and
I thought Draken won that argument.
No, she killed him.
And then she did it anyway.
She killed him.
He thought he had, and then she did it anyway, if I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think she sort of persuaded him. Well, there was a persuade.
No,
off.
but I thought
because there's a video of her kind of doing. There's a video of her doing her thing, and then she's like, she gets the sword, like her just getting the sword in the camera and sort of thrusting it down. So,
I thought, because I think that was not long after Tharival had killed Gilus, but then because I'm pretty sure Tharival and Galandra were arguing both that guy needed to die, and I thought that Draken, it basically came down to a persuasion
off,
role,
yeah, and they did persuade. He persuaded them. Well, he didn't want it to happen, but I think in the way he kind of, his trait was he wouldn't let anybody who was
yeah, because Tharival and Draken had a problem because Tharival had killed an unarmed, tied up man. Basically,
So it's So all in all, Galandra killed him, and Casper, they found his sword, and they found his family. So he has these moments in his life in front of him.
I would say that he sort of looks at each of the moments of his life, the lives of the people and friends that he's known. And he needs to realize that not all the choices that even his heroic friends in the past have made have
been
the easy or right decisions. And he needs to be. He always said that he wants to be like them, but he needs to be better.
Yeah.
So in the case of Stalden cutting off the blacksmith's hand for a petty squabble over money was a rash and extreme action, and he did not deserve that. In the case of Galandra killing the Mind Mage, despite the sort of agreement and persuasion of her fellow party members, was wrong. But encouraging a young boy to ignore the taunts of other children and to follow his heart, that he will find his sword and follow his own path, was the right decision.
I think the one with Galandra, the lesson is more that ultimately they probably would have had to kill him, but that he would have done damage or hurt people, possibly each other them. So it was the right decision, but maybe at the wrong time for the wrong reason. And
all the necessary evil.
Yeah, it was a right decision for the wrong reason, which doesn't necessarily excuse the act, but it could have been a worse outcome overall, sort of thing. Whereas the thing with Casper, of course, that is the right thing. A promise was made, a promise was kept, and they couldn't be sure that they could keep it, but they did their absolute best because, the innocent and protecting them and all that is what heroes do.
As he sees these people, each sort of seems to stand in front of their moment. Salden stands there looking at Gregor. Will you not bring him justice, Sir Gregor? Elandra stands in front of him and says, you know me as a stern friend, Sir Gregor. But within my... what's the word?
But
Within my heart is compassion. I believe in good and bringing good to this land. This boy epitomizes it. Will you give him your compassion? And he goes to... and then Draken stands in front of him. Says, what she has done is wrong. There is no honor in this man's death. Will you not redeem our honor and stop this heinous crime? Anything? Anybody?
From a Kiwi perspective, I actually think she would not interfere in this case. She knows very little about this side of his past because Arno doesn't either. And after all, she's been telling the party and everything that Gregor has to do this himself, and part of her will believe that. And I think she will watch and try and learn basically how this is going and what he will choose. That's what
I think
that's my
that she might step forward and put a hand on his shoulder and just say that this is a decision I can't guide you on, only your heart can.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
So if we get to roll for something, it'll be rolling for Gregor in this case, I think.
Okay. Roll me an insight.
Oh.
How's your wisdoms,
Not good.
5.
Queenie and
Non-existent.
Lucky? Oh no.
Ah, my mate's so,
Queenie.
I've only got a one. Intelligence.
Yeah.
We could risk it and see if my portent die comes into play. Like if we get a really good roll and we get a shit roll, then we know we've got a 17 we can fall back on.
Right.
Who else has got good insight then?
None of the remaining three.
Yeah.
I had 7, but yeah, I've done
My
mine already.
insight's 1, so absolutely not me.
Me with the double that was 2.
If you wanted something stealthy, I'm your girl, but not
Who's
smart.
who have we got left? Just Lance, Barty, and
And
Saren.
yeah.
Saren. Yeah.
Weenie and Reenie.
Well, just go for it.
I mean, we could we say we'll roll a history to see if he remembers how it actually went down?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Oh!
Oh yeah.
I like
Nice.
it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll
There you
take
go.
that.
My history is
roll
one.
well. Roll well now.
You are intelligent.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Hey, 27.
Hey, get in.
Nice.
Um, Solden, not Solden, sorry. Gregor looks at each of his past comrades and he remembers each moment, and he turns to Solden and says, "You, like me, have come a long way. When you severed that man's hand, deep down I think you knew you'd done the wrong thing. That was not justice. That was zeal. He may not be a perfect man, but the loss of his hand caused a lot of trouble, and you learnt from that. I will not choose justice." He turns to Draken, and with sadness, he says, "Galandra and Tharaval made their choice because it was what was needed at the time. You're an honourable man, and with your honour, maybe there is blindness. That mage, there was no option. And it's a hard decision to make, and I am not saying that you made letting them do it was the wrong one. And I have so much respect for the honor that flows through you. But the decision was made, and it was the right one, despite how hard it was. I will not choose the honor." He turns to Galandra and says, "The weak, the innocent, those who have lost their sword, those who have lost their family, deserve our help, deserve our protection, deserve our compassion. I will choose just that. I will choose compassion to lead me in what is to come." Galandra smiles and hands him her cup of wine as Gregor sort of walks into the tent. Okay, so okay, as Gregor sort of walks into the tent, he comes to it becomes a chamber. It's a chamber of fire, a chamber of shadow caused by the leaping flames surrounding him. In front of him stands a beautiful woman, replete in chromatic armor, with eyes of fire and a shadow casting a 5-headed dragon behind her. There is a wry, evil grin on her face. There's a wry sort of face, sort of evil smile on her face as she looks at him.
Is that Galandra?
It's early
The
and
demon.
bedazzled.
The demoness Galandra.
She sort of watches as he walks forward. She claps as he makes his entrance. Surrounding him, he sees demons and lesser demons, creatures of darkness, sort of wisping in and out of the flames. He stands about 6 feet away from the armored figure. She looks at him and speaks. You have done well. Make it so far. You're stronger than I thought. But here we are. The last challenge. Here. Now. You must be tired. You must be weak from all of that burden that has been placed upon you. I can help you. I can provide you with everything you need. I can save this land and use you as my avatar. I can give you everything you desire. But I ask again, you just need to bend your to me. You have shown great resilience and strength of mind. You have shown that you can make it as one of the chosen. Be one of my chosen, and I will give you every ounce of power. I will give you. You will be my avatar in this land. You will get revenge. You will get everything that you need. But should you decide not to, well, you will die. Think carefully, Gregor. Take my offer or face the consequences. This is your final chance.
I know what I want Gregor to do.
Go on.
I just want him to look at her and say something like, I accept whatever fate becomes of me, and just charge her. Like try and drive whatever weapon he has through her, finally come to realization of what he's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happens, happens.
I just kind of have this image of him looking up at her going, nah.
Stay the hell away from
So-
me, bitch.
Stab.
Almost
That
like
would
I
allow
acknow-
like a strength roll or something.
Like I say, well,
Yeah.
we're embodying Kivy in this regard rather than anything else. So
No, but we controlled Gregor in the last one. That's
Yeah,
right.
I would
true.
say yeah. So
Yeah.
it's basically her persuading him to do or guiding him, and it's not even that. Maybe what she's saying isn't, he's not hearing any of it, but it's sort of her trying to give guidance in what should be done next.
You know what she could do is she could just, in an effort to rally his spirit so that he can actually go ahead and stab, just mess her up. You go and lean into here, and she goes, "I believe in Sir Gregor."
No.
I'm kidding. No, just meanwhile moment, but yeah.
I think that this is the point where she'd lean forward and just whisper in his ear. I think at this point in time, we should probably remember what Draken would say in this situation.
Calamari?
Take
Kiss
control of your
my
destiny.
axe.
Pretty much.
Yes.
No,
Or,
it's
or
go.
she leans forward and just
I don't
says,
know. 'Cause
you
he would
know.
say, I bow my knee to no one.
yeah, exactly. That's a better line. But I
Yeah.
think she'd say, Gregor, I think you know what time it is.
I think it doesn't. Draken says, "I kneel for no man or no gods," or something along
Yes,
those
that's what I
lines.
mean,
Yeah.
That's my point. Is I think you know what Draken would say in this situation.
And then I hit it with my axe.
That too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's play that card.
Yeah.
She's gonna say embody Draken to the fullest.
Yep. Let's go with
And
it.
this is like ethos of Draken is exactly how we want him to play this.
Yeah.
Bow to no one and then
Fuck 'em up.
go straight into it with his axe.
Okay.
Whatever,
All
or a
right.
button.
Or whatever weapon he has.
Okay. All right. I will give you control. Well, not control. I will give you Gregor's voice. What is he saying to her?
As a good friend has said before, I bow to no man and no god, and especially not to the likes of you.
As he
By the way.
okay, as he looks down, he sees this large double-edged axe in his hand.
Kibby has sort of placed in his
Yeah,
maybe
so
with her magic.
Kivy sort of places Daybreaker in his hands. And he looks at it, and the runes like sort of glow on it. He sort of touches the face of the axe, and it starts to glow. Light sort of kind of flashes from it as he raises it and looks at her and says, "Kiss my axe," as he charges towards her. Okay, so there's going to be...
Please stop rolling that one, someone.
Right, so first up, right, as he charges forward, she hisses, and a fireball lunges towards him, hurtles towards him. I need a dexterity save.
Hey!
Oh, thought it would happen.
Come on, Lance.
So who's doing? We've got two left. You've got Saren and Lance left. So what do we got? So
My deck.
Yeah, obviously Saren is doing the next.
Here we go.
Nice.
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 he sort of kind of charges forward, axe sort of in both hands, sort of starting to move above his head. He sees to his left the fireball coming, and he just dodges. He jumps out of the way with a roll. The fireball sort of goes overhead and crashes into the side. he sort of carries on from the roll and carries charging. The black-haired lady in front of him looks shocked and sort of steps back. She screams for her minions to get him. As she does, demons and shadow starts to move towards Gregor. Roll me
Athletics? If you're trying to get
yes, yeah. Roll me athletics.
That I can do.
Way.
Okay. He, as these sort of creatures sort of come towards him, he gains strength and speed and moves forward. The axe is above his head, and the face of the woman in front of him is one of concern and shock. Gregor's face isn't one of rage, but one of acceptance, of somewhat happiness, of a man, not a boy, who has realized where he sits in this world, where he wants to be, and what he wants to do. He lunges forward and with the axe swings it at the black-haired lady's head. Roll me...
The beguiling and attractive black-haired lady's head.
The beguiling and attractive black-haired lady's head. Roll me a hit. Daybreaker. There you go. Yeah. You he swings. In fact, no. Lance, you did the killing blow. You can have it.
Make it good.
With the axe raised above his head, he bounces forward and brings it down. And as her eyes widen in shock, realizing that she's run out of ways to dodge, it perfectly strikes her at the parting of her hair and passes through the jewel on her forehead, which explodes as she gives a very strangled, squawking scream that gurgles off, and she slides off the blade, backwards, sprawling on the floor. He looks down regretfully, flicks the axe to let the blood off of it, and said, "It didn't have to be like this. If you just accepted no and left me alone, I would have been happy to leave you be."
As he sees the sundered body of his foe in front of him, the fiery realm around him dissipates. He's on top of the mountaintop overlooking Freya. He stands in simple garb, the axe Daybreaker gone. A nice, cool breeze brushes his face, and a friendly voice says, "Well done. Well done. There are few who have made it through there are few who make it through the rite of rebirth. There are even fewer who make it through what that was. You truly will be a dragon knight, Sir Gregor." I will give you what you desire. And you will be my avatar in this land. You will bring justice, honor, compassion, and loyalty. You will help your friends, and you will be a great man, deserved of all who have fallen by the wayside. They love you, you know. They miss you. Gregor doesn't look round at the voice. He just looks over the vista that is the land he is set to protect. He takes a deep breath and closes his eyes and says, I am ready. As the door opens, smoke comes out of the cell. You hear this golden light appears coming from behind it. As you sort of watch, you hear a low guttural roar coming from inside. A shadow appears walking through the smoke. And we're going to leave it there.
Really?
Recycled Cliffy.
Recycled.
Oh my God.
We're in exactly the same place as we did
Lukewarm
last week.
takeaway of a cliffhanger.
Oh, talk about re-gifting.
Simply because I just don't have a picture for it, because I wasn't sure how far we would get to, so I just... but yeah, that's it. Good job.
Solid.
Yeah, you know,
If our worst roll was mine and it was a 17.
yeah, oh yeah. I didn't even need to start keeping track of that. It's just all right, okay.
Mine was 17. It just had a heavy mod.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was very good. Yeah, well done. We will find out Sir Gregor's true form, his evolution, as it were, next week.
The Pokemon. Pokemon evolution.
It is
Why
true
did I
form.
feel like we were
but
building a Tamagotchi?
Yeah, but you'll be glad to know that he is not dead, and he is not a turned red dragonborn. So it's basically just how he comes out in the next form. So yeah, that's it for tonight. Basically the score as it worked, if you'd failed 3 of them, he would have died, just outright just died. And there would have been a horrible moment of him coming out of the smoke and basically smiling and then turning to dust, and just going. So it was going to be.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, it would have been like that. Yeah, proper brutal. Yeah, if he had failed to, he would have basically turned into a red dragonborn. And was it 2? Well, depending on the points, actually, and then obviously you passed all of them, so it didn't really matter. He is now, well, what he's going to be.
We'll find out.
We will find out. Tune in next time.
He's a sheep.
Yes. Right. Yeah, sorry. There was a lot of stuff with maybe was references to very old stuff, but it sort of kind of tied in with Gregor's, where he came from and what he was doing and stuff, and because he was forgotten a lot afterwards and stuff, or at least he was around then and doing things and stuff. So it was just sort of I thought it sort of added some depth to it. But yeah, cool. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Right.
Yeah, really good session.
Yeah, nice one, guys.
Rip.
Okay, we will leave it there, and then we'll move on next week with the missions. Obviously what's happening with Gregor. But for tonight, I've been McGeary. With me has been Conrad as Arno Jerkel.
You teach me and I'll teach you, Sir Gregor.
Michael is Tharavel Eldon.
Night, everyone.
We have Jace's brother Gadden.
Sir Gregor, he's the savior of the universe.
we have Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
You'll never defeat Gregor in his final form.
Mark as Lance.
I don't know about you guys, but I've got a splitting headache.
And Vic as Saren Sanguine.
A wild Gregor has appeared.
Night, everybody. Bye.